Welcome. My name is George Verbena. I'm an astrologer, and you're watching an update on June 20, when the Sun joins Juno, the goddess of marriage. We'll have an astrological alignment which happens no more than once a year, because the Sun only joins Juno, this asteroid, once a year. It's quite significant. What does it mean? What's it about? You'll find out in this video. So, Juno is an asteroid. She's one of the astrological goddesses which belong to the dark feminine. Dark feminine archetypes like Sedna, Ceres, Lilith, they all represent something that is repressed in the collective. But should you be able to integrate it, should you understand the lessons of Juno, then you can prevent disaster, prevent a crisis, and open a spiritual path which normally is blocked for most people because it is so repressed. Now, Juno is considered to be Hera in Greek mythology. And Hera, she used to be envious of her husband, Zeus, which represents Jupiter in astrology. So Juno was married to Jupiter, and Jupiter had sex with everybody. He was like fornicating and cheating on her, and she didn't like it, of course. But she never cheated herself. Juno was so loyal, she would never cheat on Jupiter, no matter how many times he transgressed. The reason why Juno stayed with Jupiter is because only through marriage did she receive benefits to stay the goddess of Olympus, to be the queen of the heavens. She had to be married to somebody who doesn't even love her, technically speaking. So she allowed herself to stay in a toxic relationship. But not only that, she also took revenge on Jupiter many times. For example, she invented the crab, Karkinos, or the sign of Cancer, to go after Heracles. And Heracles had to fight Hera's beasts. One of those beasts, one of Hera's inventions, was the Hydra. And of course, the Hydra, as you know, is a many-faced beast. When you chop off a head, more heads follow. And this is symbolic for the meaning behind Juno as an archetype. That there's something very beastly, something very dark, something very jealous or envious about her in her shadow side. But what is this asteroid trying to teach us when in this conjunction with the Sun? Well, Juno is basically about matching of two forces. You marry someone, and if it's not someone, you marry something. Your ego, which is the Sun, literally represents you. It represents your authority, your skills, where you shine. So you are asked to shine in a relationship with someone or something. This relationship, most of the time, is either a job, like a career, a partnership, like a business partner, or a contract, which could be a client, or something that you buy, something that you commit to, or it could be a place, somewhere where you go, where you travel, and you are bound to this place, to this person, to this thing. That's really the point of marriage. It's a binding. It's not just marriage in the traditional sense. No, it's about forming an attachment which cannot normally be broken, which you don't want to break, because the benefits of the attachment are so severe that it would feel like dying, leaving the relationship. And this is really what the asteroid is about, because Hera as an archetype, she does whatever she wants to maintain her power. She sacrifices her happiness. she sacrifices her dignity, her self-respect, her morals and ethics. All of this doesn't mean anything anymore, because when she is betrayed and she cannot leave, she'll stay in an unhappy situation just so she can maintain her power. So the thing is, right now, June 20, you are asked to get into a position where you attach to something which gives you so much, but you have to make a sacrifice of some kind. And it's not about saying yes or no to the sacrifice, because the sacrifice offers great benefits. No, it's not really about that. I believe it's about something else. I believe that Juno is about the archetype itself. And the archetype of Hera is actually the same archetype that you see with a mistress, with a female witch. What kind of witch? Well, a witch which takes the law into her own hands, which claims to be an authority on what is right and what is wrong, and who does not recognize the authority of other people. And she will play along, she will play the game of those who are in power, but only to outplay them, only so she can be in power herself. So it's a trickster of some kind. And I know you probably don't know much about Hera, and even if you do, you're probably wondering what the fuck does this have to do with trickster. But stay with me. There is a myth about Circe. Circe, or Circe, as it's actually called in Greek. Circe, because Circe is like fucking English is ridiculous. It's Circe, okay? Circe, she was a magician who lived someplace alone on an island. And Odysseus, an adventurer and a Greek hero, he took some of his soldiers, some of his people to explore the island. And they got to meet Circe in a temple, and Circe invited them because she didn't like visitors. She manipulated them and offered them a feast. And during this feast, she poisoned most of the men, and she was able to cast some kind of magic on Odysseus and his people, which turned them into pigs. Which basically shows the side of Circe, of how she looked at men, because we were all men. She basically looked at them like pigs, like animals, livestock, something to be consumed and eaten for her own benefit. And she didn't care about the morals of the situation. She saw that somebody intruded on her island, and she saw an opportunity to take advantage of them. And she had great powers of manipulation and seduction, because actually it was through seduction that she got those men to drop their guard and get into her temple and take her feast in the first place. And this is really a theme of Hera, because you see, these archetypes are multi-layered, and there's different myths for each archetype, for each asteroid. So this is actually the archetype of a seductress who is not like Lilith, but not unlike Lilith either. She's very independent, but unlike Lilith, who goes her own way, Circe, Hera, Juno, this archetype is actually very dependent on men, very dependent on those who are in power, but she finds that only through manipulation, through skill and seduction, can she maintain her position. So this is what you're asked to do. The masculine authority inside of you is reduced by Juno. And it is reduced because something is offered to you. You are bribed into a situation in which you're given great powers, great benefits. And now your ego, it merges with Juno as an archetype of adoration. So at the end of this month, until the end of June, we become the seductor, the seductress. We become that woman which is in an unhappy marriage. We want to break free, but we know that in order to break free, we would lose all our powers. And I believe that this archetype is about actualizing your powers of seduction, your powers of charm and persuasion. Because Hera has the nature of Libra. The nature of Libra is to be an expert on the marketplace, to be an expert around appearances. Because it is through her appearances, through her beautiful and her guile, that Hera was able to be in power in the first place. Because she didn't really have so much to offer, except that she was very intelligent. And like Lilith and Athena, she shared certain animals with them, like the snake and the owl or a raven. And the Hydra became more of a darker expression of her, to represent that dark side of Hera, which is really about consumption, which is beastly. It's the beast in the woman, but the kind of beast who seduces and manipulates, which is very feminine. I mean, let me give you one example of Juno, because there's celebrities with Juno on the ascendant, like Teal Swan. If anybody knows Teal Swan, she's a spiritual guru, or she's considered as such at least, she's called that. And she has Juno on the ascendant, means that her entire personality is radiating Hera energy. If you study Teal Swan, you'll find that it's all about intelligence with her. And she also has the sun in Gemini, so it fits the current theme. So the current theme really could be described as something that mirrors Teal Swan in some way, because Teal Swan, she maintains this very aloof, very distant, but kind of superior appearance, where she appears to know things better than you. She knows what you need better than you do. She seems to have access to the mysteries of life. She's a magician. She's a witch. And she's so beautiful that she tries to seduce you, but because of her aloofness, because of her distance, because of her coldness, you're kind of scared of her, and you find it difficult to trust her. But because she's so intelligent and so powerful, you want to give yourself to her. And this is who we become, or this is who we are asked to become for this transit. So if you are in a certain job right now, if you are pursuing a certain objective, maybe it's in sales, maybe it's in business, and you're thinking, how can I seal the deal? How can I commit myself to this person? Or how can I get them to commit to me? Because it's feminine, right? It's not masculine. It's not that you approach them. It's that you do something that makes them approach you. Okay, that's what Juno is about. You do something that makes them approach you. You seduce them, but it is so distant, so cold, and passive almost, feminine, contracted, going inwards, that it appears as if you're not doing anything at all, and yet they come to you. And the difficulty of Juno is that it's really about a solid commitment, which also has the nature of the moon. I think about the nature of the moon in terms of Karkinos, which is the Cancer, the crab, that Hera sent after Hercules to catch him and to kill him. It shows Hera's determination. It shows her will and her attachment, her claws, her grip, how she tries to possess what her husband, Jupiter, the king of the gods, has. So that person, that thing that gives Hera, Juno, her powers, she clutches to that. She fights for it to obtain and control as much of the resources of that thing as she can get her hands on. But she does it from the background. She never appears directly. She never confronts anything face to face. She sends someone, an emissary, a messenger, something to do her bidding. So, in a negative expression, the shadow expression, this could be like triangulation. When you are in a narcissistic abuse situation, where somebody gossips behind your back and sends flying monkeys to come after you. Because technically speaking, the Hydra and the Karkinos, they're flying monkeys, aren't they? They're doing Hera's bidding. They're her pets, basically. And Hera has the nature of the shadow side of Libra, which is objectifying. Because Libra is an object, right? And she's the goddess of marriage. Libra is the sign of marriage. And marriage is about contracts. It's about intellectual agreements to which both parties are bound by ritual. And though Hera uses rituals and magic to strengthen her position and to solidify her reign, what she's really about is the intellect. She's smart, okay? She's tactical. She plans her moves very carefully. She's very sneaky, okay? Her throne is not an obvious throne. It's not like her husband, like Zeus, who is like, yeah, I'm the king and I do what I want. She's the queen, but she's the queen of swords in some way, if you combine it with Libra. And the queen of swords meets the sign of Gemini and the sun, which is all about the intellect. So right now, our intellect, this is how we become Juno. Through our mind, through our smarts, okay? So it's your smarts that you use to seduce those people to get what they have, to get their powers. But you are in charge, okay? But because you are so feminine and so sneaky, your customers, your partners, your business friends, they think they are in control. They think they have all the power. While you are really playing everything from the background, like the Wizard of Oz, pushing the buttons, reaching out with your tentacles, but nobody can see them. For those tentacles are flying monkeys which are invisible. And if they are not flying monkeys, then they're simply signals, body language. Because there is a kind of language here with Gemini. There's a way we speak, we communicate. The Hera theme, the theme of seduction. And what is it that you want? How can I get you to treat me as the perfect partner, the ideal person to own, so I can own you? How can I get you to idealize me so I can get what you have? That's really what Juno is about. And what about the higher expression? Because all of this sounds pretty wacky, doesn't it? It sounds kind of pathological if you ask me. But is there some kind of hope for Hera? Is there some kind of medicine? Well, I think the hope for Hera is to become independent. To yes, she in many ways is dependent on her marriage, but she has to free herself from dependency, really. Because this is one of the most codependent archetypes you can find in astrology. Because it's all about binding. But that binding has to be chosen consciously. You have to be in charge of a binding. Okay? So you have to choose if it's really what you want, and if you want to use that manipulation to get what you want. But if you do it consciously, then you can use it for higher benefits. So you don't get taken over by envy, by fear, by paranoia. Because with Juno, there's a great need to be perfect. There's a great fear that if you fail to be the ideal partner, that you won't be able to get any of those benefits that you're looking for. But actually, it's not about being perfect. It's about making yourself independent, valuable, a good object. A good object is not about who you are in the eyes of others. It's who you are on your own. And that's the difference between the shadow side, I'm dependent on you to like me, and the higher expression. If I like me, you will like me. Okay? So now the sun, the ego, of the light of self-awareness is the ego, is illuminating Juno. Coming week, coming days, so get ready, because there will be relationships, there will be people, they'll pressure you, they'll bribe you, they coerce you, they may even bully you, they may even intimidate you, they may cheat on you, they'll make you nervous, insecure, and you are asked to stand your ground and prove that it is them who need you. It is not you who need them. So in the end, really, you can finally conclude that actually you simply needed each other. And if you could both see that it's a mutual relationship, one based on what do they call it? Symbiosis, and not parasitic, then hopefully you can manage to do something good. So I hope this helps to explain what this aspect is about. And if you're looking for a consultation, if you're looking to learn more about yourself or the archetypes in your natal chart, you can always book me for a reading on Facebook and Messenger. And if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.